Hello there, my friends. My name's Dave Wood, and this is an episode of The Daily Shortcut. These episodes are designed to add value to your life, to inspire you to be better, and also to teach you principles that you can apply in both your life and also your online business. Now, I was thinking this morning about life, the universe, and the joy that you can have when you step into a new kind of future by learning these principles of creation that I've been teaching in these Daily Shortcut episodes. Now, to me, it's a fascinating phenomenon to watch the way the whole world acts and behaves, and certain things that, at least on the surface, people do that almost everyone does in the whole world that appear to contradict our natures as human beings, but nobody ever challenges them. For example, the concept of working in a cubicle for 40 years until the day that we can finally live our dreams is so repulsive if we just challenge it and say, why would we want to do that? That you'd have to be a drunken madman or madwoman to accept anything like that. If you were just looking at that from a little bit of a changed perspective, you would never even consider something so stupid. Yet because there's no other perspective that we have, we're not taught anything else, we continue in this ludicrous madness. Now, that might seem like I'm trying to insult somebody, or maybe I'm adding insult to injury and you're like, hey, I am miserable with that, but you're just insulting my job. It's not targeted at you. It's not targeted at your intelligence or what you do. Maybe you love what you do. What it's targeted at is accepting social hypnosis without challenging it, and the way that we as human beings seem to be raised to live a life that's not any more or less compelling than the way human beings were utilized as batteries to power intelligent machines in my favorite movie, The Matrix. You remember that? Human beings were just batteries, right? And that's how we live out our lives, is like batteries to power this giant evil machine. The reality is this, is that the world is an abundant place, and if it's used wisely, it has virtually unlimited resources for all of us. All of us can live our dreams, whatever they may be, no matter how wild or huge they may seem. An example of this drunken madness that I'm talking about is this. Why in the world would someone go their entire life putting off their passions if there was a way that they could just live it here and now and walk in that incredible future that they've always been postponing beyond some sort of uncertainty in the future? Well, why would someone engage in a constant battle of struggle to achieve something that they would never really want in the first place if they were just to simply challenge the idea and ask the question, do I actually want that, or do I just want it because my neighbor had it? See, nature seems to have, instilled inside of us as sentient human beings, as intelligent beings, the desire for inner joy, the desire for peace, the desire for happiness. We have this constant dissatisfaction, always wanting to know what's the secret of happiness. It's like this lifelong pursuit for people, right? Yet the way that we act and behave on a constant basis, because of social hypnosis, it seems to push us further individually and also as a species, as communities, as human beings from the connection and the joy that we seek. And I actually talked about that in the last episode. So I've got a new mantra for my life, and you can adopt it if you want. You don't have to. Live your passion right now. Hate your job? Well, then quit. See, I don't care if we're in a recession. Do something that you love and get a vision for your life of living to your full potential. Decide right now that you're going to live the life of your dreams in this moment by throwing away the 40-year plan of the Matrix of Society or the 2 to 5 year plan of the Matrix of Network Marketing. Just throw it in the trash and instead choose to live the right now plan, which is the lifestyle of the new rich. That's like what Timothy Ferriss talks about in his bestseller book, The 4-Hour Workweek. Decide to live in abundance right now. See, the simple reality is this, that if human beings didn't fear stepping into the greatness inside, we wouldn't be in a recession in the first place. We wouldn't have a dumb monetary system in the first place. We wouldn't have an oppressive, socialist, and fascist government that disguises itself as democracy ran by elitists if we were just living our passions. We wouldn't have hunger, we wouldn't have thirst, we wouldn't have poverty because there's more than enough food for everyone in the world. And we would all be living our lives with the single focus towards raising the standard of life to more perfect, more whole, and filled with more joy and happiness. So why do we as human beings persist in allowing things to happen that we not only dislike, but we vehemently oppose, unless of course we have to do something about it? Why have we allowed ourselves to be fixed into a way of being that's contrary to our greatest joys and our greatest desires? A while back, I had a phone conversation with my brother Aki. Some of you guys know Aki Wood, and he made a really good point. He said, Dave, I'm 100% convinced that most of what we've learned in our lives about success is just pure and total bullshit. See, we were talking about how the vast majority of material on success is really produced with the intention of just selling more books, selling more CDs, selling more courses, selling more seminars, selling masterminds, etc. And that most of the time, people who are teaching about these success principles, they don't really have what it is that they're actually teaching inside their own life. They're doing that for a business. Although many of the gurus and many of the public speakers who teach things do have those things in their lives. But a good example of this is the all too familiar person that we see sometimes on social media, maybe it's Facebook or Twitter, and they paste a link with a title that says something like, how to sponsor 20 to 30 reps into your business per month on autopilot. But you know, when you look at the video, when you read the post, when you hear the language, when you see the email, that person has never enrolled a single rep in their entire life, and they shouldn't be saying that. See, even if you don't know how this business works, you can actually see it in people's body language, and you can hear the signs of weakness in their voice as they're speaking something they know is not completely accurate and true. That's called incongruence. That might be a kind of amusing thing to see at best, but in its worst, it's outright manipulative. But it connects with a deeper problem that we have in the human psyche that I believe prevents us from living our life to the fullest potential that we could possibly have. And that problem is what I'm here to help you resolve today in this episode so you can be more of you. See, the real problem is this. It arises out of disconnected behavior, like what we just talked about, our real personality and who we are. That's not what we need to be successful. So what we need to do is put up this image that's false for everyone to see that has no bearing on our true nature. You would not believe, for example, even myself, how many people have tried to convince me to change who I am, even though I'm massively succeeding. People still do that. As an example, I was taught all through my life by experts that the image of success was being clean-shaven, short hair, a suit and a tie, being prompt, organized, obedient to your boss, and focused on working through the corporate system and following a pre-developed set of rules. Well, there are certain elements to the things that I was taught that certainly help create massive success in business. The reality is that most of it is just bullshit hogwash. And personally, I think that it holds back my success. Every single time I've ever tried to fit into the image, no matter who's recommended it, it has actually lowered my income. In fact, every time I've fallen for this and started walking in a societal construct of some kind, it's resulted in a direct decline in revenue and profits rather than an increase. In other words, not being myself does not pay me well. And through it all, here's what I've also learned. I've learned over the last 5 years running one of the largest companies in the information marketing space that today people are not looking for a guru to lead them to salvation. People today are looking for connection. They're looking for personality. They're looking for friendship and who you really are. They're looking for you. Now, they're starving for that. They're starving for true authenticity. That is what makes people like you. They want you to say shit if you feel like saying it, or fucking bullshit if you feel like saying that. If you're mad or if you're hurt or if you're struggling, they want you to be honest about it rather than covering it up and trying to pretend something's not there, because if you cover it up, they know something's off and then they think everything's off. Really, they want to know the real you. They want to know who you are. That doesn't mean you take your shit and rub it all over the internet. What it means is that you're honest and authentic about stuff you've been through. And isn't that what you want? Isn't that you want to connect with a human being? See, if people can see you, if they can peer inside of your heart, and if they connect with you, that is going to take you further in relationship, business, and in life than faking it till you make it, as the old saying goes. Now, that saying is another thing we'll talk about in a future episode. Comes from a good place, but not really worded in the right way. But you don't want to fake it till you make it. You want to be who you really are and realize that you do have the power to succeed. Plus, do you really want to live a life in a way that isn't congruent with who you really are and what you really love to do and what you really think and your beliefs and your values? Why would you be ashamed of just being authentically you? Why would you ever want to live your life in a way that wasn't connected with who you really want to become in your life? Imagine if you were a woman or a man and you were going through your whole life being ashamed of living your passions, never feeling truly loved because you're never being yourself, always ashamed of who you are. For what? For nothing. For fear of really what you can do as a human being. To be a battery that powers the matrix of society and systems of thinking that are no better than the Roman Empire in the sense that they are doomed to collapse anyways. Who are you really? Why are you doing this? Why do you persist in your vision, even when the world seems to attack you from all sides, right? I call that crabs in a bucket, right? I'll talk about that here a little bit later on. What's your real dream? What do you actually want in your life? So today I have a challenge for you, and it's to live your passions today. You want to study Kung Fu? Start today. You want to paint? Start painting. You want to dance? Start dancing. Pursue your passions right now. That's the purpose of this kind of business. Be the person that you want to be, that you're dreaming of being, that you're saying, I'm going to do it off in the future. Tell your wife that you love her when? Today. Give a hug to your children today. Spend time with them. Tell your father that you forgive him if he hurt you. When? Forgive him right now. Just let it go. Don't wait till he does something. Be humble and say you're sorry if you hurt somebody that you love, even if it's not really your fault, but it'll just help. Even if they're not ready to forgive you or accept it yet. Clear it out from your own emotions. Be who you want to be now. Tell your teams that you believe in them. Take a day off on the weekend. Go on a jungle safari that you've always dreamed of since you've been a little child, and give some money to somebody in need, even if you don't have very much, without even judging them at all, without saying, oh, they're going to spend it on drugs, without saying, oh, this person's going to do this or that, or oh, why aren't they working? Just give them. Bless somebody today. Without judging, give it to them just because you want to give them a moment of blessing. You want to give them a gift. Realizing that the poor and struggling beggar is not any better or worse than you. We are all important. We're all beautiful as human beings. We all have a grand purpose in the universe. And thinking that we're better than somebody, no matter their situation in life, is really not being in alignment as a human being. It's not. Hire somebody now. Start expanding now. Hire somebody to do that task that you hate and release yourself of that burden that's been eating your passions away, realizing somebody else is passionate about that and you can pay for it. Let go of that success that you had in the past that fell apart and embrace your life the way that it is in this present moment, even if it means being okay with less. See, for me, I didn't want to quit corporate America to be a professional at anything. I want freedom, lifestyle, connection, relationships, to see beauty, to be detached from outcomes, to be happy, to live life in awe, with vision, with thankfulness, with spirit, with trust, with love. And then I just make money like I'm a professional while dressing and talking like I want to. I think that's better. See, that's why I do what I do. And it connects better in the marketplace every time I see it play out. Authenticity always wins. Now, it doesn't mean that you wear shirts like me. I wear this because it's hot here. I live in Costa Rica. What it means is that you are who you want to be. So my question is, why are you actually doing what you do? Here's the biggest challenge that I have for you, and that's this. It's to become the change that you want to see in the world. That's what Gandhi said. And help me transform the world. And you could do that now by being authentic. So are you up for the challenge? If so, join me on the path to creating a change in the marketplace by changing the way that we are. And what do I mean by that? I mean being who we really are. See, I want to help you create a better business while improving and developing yourself by applying these principles. And so to do that, I've prepared 3 powerful bonus shortcuts to help you attract wealth faster, while also reinforcing the concepts that you learned in today's episode. And in your first daily shortcut, you're going to download a free PDF workbook that will help you follow along and apply the concepts and the principles that you learned today about authenticity in business. This even includes a transcription of this episode that you can read word for word and a workbook. Now, in your second daily shortcut, you're actually going to get an audio download of this content. So you can listen to it 2-3 times a day when you're driving in your car to work, and you can absorb this dose of inspiration into your mind, and you can change your behavior to be more in alignment with who you are. And in your third and the most important daily shortcut, I want to give you my entire business system. It's called the Total Shortcut. You can get that now and begin growing with us, experiencing a total life transformation in a faster and a more powerful way. The Total Shortcut system can help you see a bit of yourself a little bit in a different way by freeing you. It can inspire you to just move up in your life several notches every day without doing any more work. Leave me your thoughts in the comments, and if you're inspired to be more authentic, share this with somebody that you love, and I'll see you in the next episode of The Daily Shortcut. My name is Dave Wood, and I want you to remember something, that you, my friend, are awesome.